Hey guys, what's going on? We have the era system now inside of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And so, because of that, I'm creating a new series called Let's Prepare. The reason why we're creating the Let's Prepare is because in our previous system, we would get a marquee character, be able to throw mods on them, upgrade abilities, and by the time we would actually be able to use them and all that other good stuff, we would have some time to kind of fine tune things and kind of figure out what happens, especially for those of us that knew at 3 stars we weren't going to be able to use them. We'd be able to have, all the people that have spent on the character or whatever the case was, be able to be our guinea pigs, right? And tell us, hey, like this is the best mods to put on them. So, in order to sort of answer that in a different way, we need to kind of prepare for getting all, 6 characters inside of an era all at once. And in order for us to do that, I think we just have to have, a little bit of a system here. And that's what my attempt at this is. So let's go ahead and get into it. So again, for an agenda, we're going to go through ability, materials, gear, mods, and then some potential teams. And first one is ability materials. So with this one, I'm going to go ahead and say, again, the overview for this is you're going to get level 65. That's what they've told us. So I'm just going to hold true to that. If you were to just hold true to that and you want to upgrade them to the max, you're going to need 60 of the Mark III, 41, or I think that's actually supposed to be 40. Sorry. I probably made a mistake. Actually, no, I think that is right. We are going to need 41 of the Omegas. You'll need 40 of the Zetas and then 20 of the Omicrons. However, me personally, I'm going to say that the special and the lead Zetas are pretty luxury. They kind of call out to Leia and Stormtrooper Han. So unless you are early game or unless there comes out to be like some more reworks or maybe some other kits that make those kits make more sense, I just don't see those guys cracking into like even mid-game territory. If you're early game, I assume that is going to be a decent pull for your opponents, better than like a Phoenix or something like that. But again, I think you should probably be focused on what is going to pay dividends in the long run. I'm also going to rank the Omicron as luxury. It is a 3v3 Omicron, and again, it is using those characters that we've already established. They need a lot of help, and they are going to get help with that Omicron. I just don't know how long that Omicron pays off for. So if you take the route of the special and lead Zetas and the Omicron as a luxury, you really just need 15 Omegas to max out his abilities. Okay, then let's talk about gear. Now, I just want to shout out SWGoH for giving me this because it was really hard to format it. So I'm just going to take a screenshot. It's lazy, I know, but it also helps me with time management. So the assumption again here is that you're going to be level 65. The big thing to note is that we do have 2 of those Mark 12 Armor Tech visors, so you need to double that account for everything that you need. Some of the key, things that we've been, drained of, I'd say, those med packs, 40 of those. And then the big one to note is that we will need 100 of those keypads, I think is what they're called, of the Chirotech, the computers or whatever you want to call them. So this character specifically needs 100 of those. The assumption is that you are getting to level 65. So now you are having a gear 12 character. So in order to get him to gear 13, that's all the gear that you will need to kind of max him out. And then it's relics from there. Okay, so mods. This is my best guess at mods. There might be some or other thing, and I'll kind of elaborate why I'm thinking this. So he is a support. Stormtrooper Luke is a support. These are the stats that he has at gear 13. I will say, you can see there's a pretty big difference between protection and health at gear 13 only, which is why you can see over here on the right-hand side that I kind of call out, protection early, but as you kind of increase his relic levels, and depending on where you see him fit, you might call him back into health. Health might be as good of a stat. They get really close to a 1-for-1 the higher the relics you go on Stormtrooper Luke. So when it says protection early, that's what it's kind of alluding to. speed. He is actually a kind of a speed demon, which is awesome because he is a support, and I think we're gonna play into that a little bit more. So he's actually the 7th fastest in the game, if we take out Galactic Legends. And there's like, I think the spots like 4 through, or maybe it's like 3 through 6 are all tied for the same amount. So he's pretty fast. Nothing really notable on crit damage or potency. He does have one of the best tenacities in the game. Like his ratio is right underneath Pirate King Hondo's. He starts out at gear 13. He's already at 148% tenacity. So that's why I'm also kind of going to shy away from tenacity when I thought about what mods to give him. He's got a pretty decent base. And then the other thing is his ability. He gives a non-dispellable tenacity up as well. So it kind of, brings into the fact of if you are fast enough and if you are really afraid of an ability block, which might be detrimental to him because, again, he is a support. He's not doing much damage. So if he gets ability block, he's really not adding too much to the team. He does have that non-dispellable tenacity up. So I think, again, that to me is kind of speaking to tenacity is kind of covered. We don't need to worry about one of his, Achilles heels, so to speak, and we can use that lever to potentially give him some more survivability. The other stats, right? He is a physical damage guy. He's at like one of the worst, to be honest. And again, that's to be expected. He's really not supposed to be doing the damage if you just kind of look at his stats. But that's why we're going to go with 4 speed. And if you want to go 2 health or defense, defense could be really nice as well to just sort of limit that damage. But it's very simple, guys. He seems like he's going to be a very simple kit to mod for, with your square and your diamond and really on all your mods other than your arrow. I think you're just going to be looking for fast speed secondaries. Obviously the primary on the rectangle and the diamond are givens, but once you get into the circle, into the triangle and the cross, I think, again, you're going to want to look at protection early or health. If you're going to go later on, if you're going to push him to relic 7 or 8 or 9, or, who knows, maybe he's a candidate for 10 for you. As I started to play with that data, it's at close to a 1-for-1, swap here. And by the time you add in that you're adding in an actual health set, it's pretty much, negligible, I think, in the long run. And with his tenacity being so high, I don't think you have to worry about stuff like exposed damage or anything like that. But I think for me personally, I'm going to go with protection. Okay, so let's just wrap this up. I guess you guys can't really see the teams here, but maybe I'll move this over here. So, the teams, again, I think if you're early game, just act like Farm Boy here in this scenario is Stormtrooper Luke. This is going to be the team. I think he's going to be the lead. I think he's the best lead that you have available. And these are really early on, easy to get teams or characters that are kind of given to you, so to speak. And you can, get the R2-D2 legendary, which will help increase some of the stats and stuff like that. But I think this is where you're kind of going to be at with that first early game. And then in 3v3, it's obviously really spelled out for you. With, Stormtrooper Luke as lead and then Princess Leia and Stormtrooper Han as his allies. So I'm calling this endgame copium because we just don't know, right? At this point, Leia Organa is a really good galactic legend. And this idea that you can open up after Leia's kind of given all her damage and stuff like that in with the, that log roll and everything like that you could be able to call in everyone to assist, right? Or maybe add in that tenacity up so that way, like a JML can't ability block or something like that. Those are the types of maybe debuffs that you're really worried about on this team, but maybe that's something that you can, clear up with a Stormtrooper Luke. The reason why I'm calling this endgame copium is because right now, The meta is Leia Organa, R2-D2, and Drogon with Jyn Erso and Admiral Raddus, right? And the whole trick of that is that most of the time the AI just target Jyn Erso and they don't ever really go anywhere else. And you can kind of force that also with R2's smokescreen. And it just becomes this thing where she's basically, she is unkillable until they kill Radis. So long as Radis stays alive, Leia has been able to kind of punch around teams just because of bad targeting and or strategy, if you want to call it that, or kit design. So adding, a different support, or even a support that does just as much, there's a lot, and you could add, Commander or Captain Rex. There's a lot of characters that actually fit in with Leia, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem to go as well because, again, bad AI just kind of targets, so that way Leia can just punch around everything that she's kind of going up against. So that's where I'm saying that might be copium, because we might get a better character, we might even get a better kit and better abilities, but unfortunately, if your punching bag is not there to just take all the damage and not die, unfortunately, like, you might end up losing more battles than it's worth. So that's why I'm saying that I don't know. But if I were to put Stormtrooper Luke in there, I think Old Ben fits in there really well too, because he does remove turn meter, he does have ability blocks, he does have like a passive TM gain in there as well. So, and then again, the call to assist, adding tenacity up, attackers assisting with that. So I guess Drogon wouldn't attack with that, but something like that. I could see that being actually a really solid add-on into the Leia Organa Galactic Legend team. But again, we'll just have to wait and see, how that all plays out. Anyways, guys, hopefully this helps you guys out. Again, I will be creating these for every character because I think it's really important. It's important for me also. I'm already allocating mods to different characters so that way I can move them over to Stormtrooper Luke and Choda and all the others that are going to come out all at the same time. So that way I'm prepared and can lock into GAC or lock into Territory Wars, whatever is available at that time, and not really have to stress too much and figure this out at the time of all 6 characters coming out. There's going to be more of them too, because we've also got, the Stranger coming out. So anyways, if you guys found this helpful, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, do all the things that makes this video popular, share it with your guild mates. And if you guys have any suggestions, let us know. Again, we're kind of in the theory of this whole thing, so I'm not saying this is gospel by any means, but thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.